why is that happening? And the theory is if you ask why enough times, you get to the actual root cause of what is creating the issue. And then you can address that specifically when you create your solution. Some problems are incredibly complex, though, and you might have a multifaceted why. So we'll sometimes use something called the fishbone diagram that gives you different categories of where things might be going wrong. It might be that a person isn't following procedure, and that's creating an issue. Or a machine isn't behaving the way you expect it to. Maybe your methods and your procedure is actually not that great, and that needs to be fixed. Maybe there's something about the weather. I know working with paint, well, we deal with contamination where bugs will come in during the spring and get into the paint job, and we can't have that. So we've had to come up with specific problem solving around how do we work with Mother Nature. Materials, maybe there's an issue with the paint itself not being mixed properly, or measurement tools. Maybe the tool that you're using to diagnose the problem isn't diagnosing the problem properly. So I really like this method for complex problems because it encourages you to look at it from a bunch of different angles. And often multiple of these items are having issues that are compounding into one big thing going wrong. Then this is the fun part for most people, coming up with a solution. At this point, usually it's an interdisciplinary problem solving method. You get a bunch of different types of engineers, you get mechanics in the room, you get data analysts in the room, and you all brainstorm on what can we do to solve this root cause. Not the initial problem that you defined, the root cause that is creating this issue. If you can pinch it there, it's not going to cascade into a bunch of other issues. So try to solve. And then once you come up with a solution that you like, you test it. You see if it works. And how do you tell if it worked? The same way that you identified the problem in the first place. I've done quite a few projects where we want a job to be performed within a specific amount of time. Let's say we want it to be done within 2 hours, and right now it's getting done in 4. Well, we implement a solution, and then we go see, okay, how many hours is it taking now? Okay, it's taking 2.5 hours. That's great. 2.5 hours is definitely better than 4. But do we then need to look further to see if we can get it down to that 2-hour mark? Because we did set that 2-hour mark for a reason. So that's the reason this process is a circle. If it can be very cyclical, if one of your steps didn't work, you can always go back and check and reassess. So was there something that didn't get defined quite right in the problem statement? Is there maybe an environmental factor that you missed out on? Is the ideal state not achievable? Is that 2-hour mark not something that a person can actually do? Did we get the wrong root cause? If you try and solve for the wrong problem or for the wrong issue, you're not going to get the outcome that you want. Or sometimes there's an additional solution that you can try. A lot of times solutions are big and costly, so we'll do an intermediate solution that maybe solves some of the problems we're looking for, but not everything. And then while we're waiting for the bigger, expensive solution to come in, that's going to make everything ideal. So you can just keep iterating through the process until you're happy with your improvement. And then sustaining the gains, making sure that it sticks. I don't think anyone is great at change. So now that you've changed a process, you have to cement it. You can do that with documentation. If there's written standards, to update those to support your change. You can do that by spreading the word. I give lots of presentations at the end of a project to let people know what we've got done. And also to share with colleagues. A lot of times we'll make an improvement on the 8-7 program and then go over to 777 and say, hey, could you use this? And then 777 will go over to 6-7, and 6-7 will go over to 3-7. And suddenly, instead of just being this unique item we're doing on 8-7, it's now a company standard. And that's far easier to uphold. And then again, more data, monitor the work, check in, and see that 2-hour goal that you had is something that you're still consistently hitting, even after the eyes have kind of gone off of the issue. Now that's an example of just one thing, but usually in my job, I'm working a lot of different problem solving efforts at once. So big picture of how that happens, usually every year we'll have a workshop where we pull in, like I said, people from quality inspectors, mechanics, different types of engineers, different types of managers, get everybody in a room and talk about the problems that are happening on the program. So we'll identify a lot of improvement opportunities at once. Then all of those improvements get transferred into a project portfolio so we can keep track of where we're at in this problem solving process for each of the issues that we identified. Some issues are going to be easier to solve than others. So some projects are going to get done right away and others are going to finish. Others are going to finish later. We continue to monitor and report to tell leadership how we're doing, and if we need help to make a project be faster. A lot of times, paint right now has a big goal to better define our standard work. And in order to do that, we need to probably hire some more people to help us work on that project. Or there's a new tool that we're looking for that could help painters paint the wings more comfortably. We would need to put in a financial proposal to see if that can happen. So those are ways that we can communicate with executives on how they can help us. And finally, doing savings assessments. So successful projects that make things better usually end up saving money, and your team is smiled upon if you can actually communicate how much money you're saving, how much are you making stuff better. So my job is coordinating all of this and condensing it into a easily shareable form for a lot of different audiences at Boeing. And then I just have a quick what's next for me, because I usually get that question. I've been working at the Everett Delivery Center for the last 3 years, and usually people at Boeing move around at about this time. So I'm looking at a different opportunity at the Electrical Systems Responsibility Center. So instead of being at the end of the value stream where the airplane's being tested, I'm going all the way back to the beginning, where we'll do all of the wire bundling that goes into the different components of the airplane. It'll be a different industrial engineering challenge for me, because the delivery center typically works in hours, whereas the electrical center has their processes defined down to minutes. So the improvements that you can make are on a different scale. You also have opportunities to do more process modeling and more facilities layout items, since it's not just a blank airport. So that'll be very exciting. Work-life balance. I'm just figuring out taking care of my health and also enjoying what I do. I love living in Seattle, and I'm looking at maybe I finally have enough saved to actually find a home out here. And along with that adult stuff, I'm getting married probably this time next year. My partner and I got engaged, and he's been an absolutely fantastic ally and support system. As a woman in engineering, it's so important when you can have those people who just always have your back and who are always ready to listen to you complain and help you think about your next move. It's fantastic. And then just a hobby of mine. So that is my presentation.
Wow, thank you very much, Romy. Congratulations on getting married. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll probably be about this time next year.
Yeah. And do we have some questions for Romy?
I thought I saw
Very
some stuff in
clearly
the chat.
explained.
Oh, a problem to solve in the chat. How to get kids through the lunch line faster. That's a cool one. Oh, okay. So now your problem would be it's slow to get through the lunch line. Like it takes you X amount of time. You want it to take you Y. A root cause. Oh, there could be tons of reasons why it's slow in the lunch line. Do you not have enough servers at the lunch line? Are kids not orderly in the lunch line? Are there certain processes in the lunch line that take too long? And then depending on what root cause, you can do solutions. Maybe try, instead of having 2 servers in the lunch line, you try having 3. Or maybe there's a better system that you can use for paying at the end. And so you try it out, and you could get your friends together in time and see, okay, it used to take us 10 minutes to get through the lunch line, and now it takes us 8. Are we happy with that? And then keep going.
I'm willing to suggest it's the French fries that hold things up.
Yes. Is there a particular food item where everybody stops? Everybody has to stop to get that one item. So do you need more of that item?
Well, thank you so much, Romy. That was really wonderful. And we look forward to hearing all your news again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move on. I'm going to introduce you to Mary, Dr. Mimi Isaac. And Mimi has had a great long career in global energy business. And now she's a researcher, a practitioner, and she focuses on women in engineering and technology. And she's one of the driving forces behind the Tech program, the director of the UCSD camp and the virtual camp, as well as designing and implementing a lot of our systems. And Mary got a degree in engineering and education, and she's regularly presenting and publishing through different engineering organizations and presenting overseas. I'll say, Mary, could you do this for us? Oh, I'm doing a presentation in Germany this day, or France, or something else. So she's a treasure for us. And what she doesn't know about Tech camps, nobody knows.
Oh,
So,
I don't know about that. I don't know about
I do.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I'm going to share my screen.
Excellent.
Let's see if I can find this. And if it really shares. No. Are you seeing Tech Trek Goes Virtual?
Yes.
You are. Okay. So I've got 2 screens set up, 2 displays set up here. And it's like, okay, why is it over there? I don't quite know, but that's where it is. It's on the other screen. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Isaac, also known as Dr. Mimi. I am also an engineer. Today is the day for engineers, huh?